Welcome to my first installment of 3 Minute Thursday, the series where I don't have time for an intro. If you've been in the anime community for any length of time, you've probably noticed there are quite a few people who are #MyHeroAcademasses. These people refuse to acknowledge that there is anything wrong with My Hero Academia in any way, shape, or form. But the less prominent group of people who I find equally as annoying are the people who act like My Hero Academia is straight up trash. I call them My Hero Academia Dans, which are like stands but negative. I don't know, I just made that up just now. One of the main areas in which these groups disagree is whether Deku is god tier or trash tier. Both of these groups are wrong, and as with most things, the truth really lands somewhere in the middle. The main argument that I see being made by Deku stans is the exact reason why many Deku dans dislike him. Deku stans say that the reason they like him is because he's compassionate, kind, and has a big heart. This is interpreted differently by the Deku dans, who think that he is, well, a pussy. I can see both sides of the argument. On one hand, Deku is likable for being vulnerable. On the other hand, he's a pussy. I'm joking. I actually think that Deku dans are confusing him being an emotional kid for being a wimp. You can be emotional and still be a badass. Like, he dives headfirst into horrible situations knowing that he could get killed on a regular basis without a second thought. Now on the other side of the spectrum, I can see what the Deku dans are talking about. When I watch shonen, I want to feel like the main character is filled to the brim with determination and strength. But Deku isn't really conveying that to me when I see him choking on his snot every 2 seconds. This is a key point, however. Deku is filled to the brim with determination, in spite of the fact that he's terrified. There's a quote that I'm sure many of you have heard, and it goes something like this. Superman isn't brave. Superman is indestructible, so therefore he can't be afraid of going into otherwise dangerous situations. Now this quote is a gross misunderstanding of the character of Superman, but my point still stands. Deku isn't indestructible, quite the opposite in fact. Many Deku dans conflate Deku's tremendous strength for tremendous durability, but this just simply isn't the case. Not only has Deku shown many times that he isn't impervious to taking damage by his foes, his own quirk is basically trying to rip him apart every time he uses it. On top of this, I think it's really easy to forget that Deku's only 16. He doesn't yet possess the faculties necessary to handle some of the stuff that he's seeing, so I think a lot of Deku dans actually view that as a negative, but I think that's a positive, and shows that his character is being taken in more of a realistic way in some aspects of the show. I think that it's this realism that makes people sometimes think of Deku as less of a badass protagonist and more of just a scared little baby who cries every time anything happens. Deku is a badass because in spite of the fact that he knows his arms and legs will be mincemeat right after the fight, he still fights anyways. Do you know how much sheer determination it takes to throw a punch knowing full well that it'll lead to the bones in your arms being more shattered than my childhood after seeing this? After posting to the subreddit, I learned that many My Hero Academia fans actually just view him more as a medium in which to enjoy the other more interesting characters. I think that's about where I stand as well. Deku is neither the best protagonist or the worst. He's somewhere in the middle. In closing, I don't have time for an outro. Bye!